Hi guys, this is Rob from Sydney, Australia, and this is episode number 2. So we're going to be covering a topic that's been on my mind for a little while, and hopefully it will resonate for you or maybe some of you watching today. So this is time management for the average Joe, and as I said, the average Joe could be anyone. I'm an average Joe. Average Joe could be a male or female and live anywhere in the world. So I hope that this time management series will really be applicable to anyone who watches it. As I said in the first episode, actually the pilot, I've had a lot of business training and I've spoken and done a lot of consulting in the business world. However, I really felt that there's quite a lack of training in time management for a regular person or the average Joe. And so this video series is for you. So we had the pilot, we had episode 1, this is episode 2. So basically, the two areas that I believe that I'd like to speak about today is about time management in regards to your upbringing and your personality. And I believe there's several different areas of time management that have something to do with those particular areas of your life, either your upbringing or your personality. But time management can be about all sorts of things. It's not just about your calendar. It's also about some of those people who are always habitually late, and some people who struggle to be able to prepare for last-minute issues. Sometimes it's the planning for future events, and sometimes it's taking steps to change a pattern of always forgetting things that has to be done. So as the series continues, I'll be adding more content to better unpack the whole time management experience. Okay, upbringing and personality play a massive role in how you deal with time management. I remember as a kid, my father would get really cranky when we were running late to go somewhere, or if people were running late to come to our house. Our parents used to have different events that they have at our house, or sometimes we used to go to different places, and my father in particular would start to get real grumpy if anyone in the family would hold him up from getting in the car and get going. Or if we were to be somewhere and others were being late, it would just drive him crazy. And so as far as my upbringing went, I watched a father who modelled the point of being on time. And being late often came down to the point of just being quite disrespectful to other people's time. So interesting enough, I remember hearing this saying, and you may have heard it before, and I love this saying. It's to be on time is to be late, but to be early is to be on time. And I'll say that again. To be on time is to be late, but to be early is to be on time. Maybe you've heard that, maybe you haven't. But have a bit of a think about this. Maybe if we program ourselves to believe this is true, we will never let anyone down and disrespect their time again. Now, how often would we be late to work and our bosses would say, no, that's not a problem? Or how often would we be late to a sporting event or a concert? How often would we be late to anything that has some type of responsibility to it? But all too often, we don't mind being late when it comes to friends or family, or we don't mind being late when it comes to certain other areas of our life. And I believe that's just very disrespectful. And sometimes that comes to the upbringing. The way people model things to us as children sometimes is the way we bring those into our adult life. As a child, I watched my parents model this to me, but often people don't see that. And often people don't realise that we watch how other people behave, but sometimes we teach ourselves as well, and suddenly we have ourselves a situation where we're making up our own rules for life. We don't know any better, and so we have no choice but to try and make up those rules, and sometimes those rules don't always work very, very well. But we don't have to be a slave to those behaviours, and we have to stop from living in a world that may not have been so great for us for many, many years. You may be in your 20s or your 30s, or I'm in my late 40s. You might be well into your 50s and still struggling with some of the different things that your parents taught you, or some of the things that you learnt as a child and you've never been able to get past them. Well, I believe this is some of the things we'll be able to work on through this series. But another area I believe is your personality. And so some people can be really laid back, they can be very easygoing, they take life as it comes to them, they go with the flow. And this personality can sometimes struggle to just be able to watch their time management in their daily lives. And the sad thing about that is that sometimes people may lose friends because they are constantly being late to events, or sometimes they're double booking themselves or not even showing up at all. And sometimes people may even lose their jobs because they're being late, or they're not managing their time well enough because they're very chilled, they're very relaxed, they're at home watching television, and suddenly they realise, oh, that's the time I better get in the car, I better go to work. Or maybe they're pottering around the house enjoying their morning coffee and they forget, oh, they have to be somewhere. And maybe it might be costing people, because of their personality, it might be costing them money. They didn't return that library book on time, or maybe they didn't get back to their car to move it and they've ended up with a parking ticket. Or maybe they missed their bus or their plane or their train because they'd lost track of time. And sometimes it's the area of personality which can be very, very challenging when it comes to people and their time management. And I believe that these areas of personality can be adjusted. There's no reason why you can't be an easygoing and relaxed type of person, but I still believe that time management can be learnt and bolted onto the side of your personality. You can be a happy person, you can be excellent at all sorts of things, but if your time management skills are lacking, no matter what your personality looks like, maybe that's an area that you can start to work on. And in particular, personality, sometimes we learn habitual things in our lives. Some people are habitually late. Some people do things in their lives that they don't know any better. That's just the way they've always done things. But I believe the time management for the Average Joe series will assist these type of people. As they merge the advice and suggestions that I give them, they will slowly reprogram themselves to harness the power of time management into their daily lives. I think it's wonderful that people are relatively stress-free, they live lives without a care in the world, and they enjoy a relaxed lifestyle. But if their personality causes them to continually run into the examples that I mentioned above, then maybe it might be time for them to reconsider what their carefree life may look like. So let's recap. If you were never modeled good time management skills as a child, or your carefree personality has seen you struggle with some issues in your life, maybe you need to start putting some things that I've been teaching into practice. So what day is the best day to start adjusting and changing your ability to harness time management in your life? Well, you know what? It's today. It doesn't matter what time of the day you're watching this video. But if you've been maybe thinking of these things over the last few months, last few years potentially, you've been wading around in issues for 20 years and constantly having struggles with time management because it was never modeled to you as a youngster, or maybe because your personality is quite carefree and relaxed, but you know that at the moment you really need to change some things, or maybe time management could be the answer for you. So let's recap and consider what I spoke about in the pilot. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch that, which is time management for the average Joe, the pilot. And I spoke about how you must write down everything in your diary or in your calendar on your phone. Most people carry phones these days. I haven't carried a diary with paper in it for many, many years. So I've just got a regular phone, and I use that for my calendar every single day and many, many times during that day. And so, but the calendar isn't just for today. The calendar is for today, this week, this month, and next year. And obviously, we can plug things into our calendar like our friends and family's birthdays, or regular meetings that come up every single week, or the sort of stuff that we know we're going to do on a regular basis. We can plug that in and set repeats as well. So if you don't know what your phone calendar can do, most of the latest phones can do that. So the sort of thing that you may put in your phone as an example is this. I'm just going to read this example. I've written it down and I just want to see what it looks like to you. Now this is an example I've just made up. And maybe this may apply to you, maybe it may not, but this is an example of the type of things that someone may put in their phone on a daily basis. So at 8 o'clock, feed the dog. Now that may seem obvious, but sometimes you need to put things into your calendar so you don't forget. So put it in there with a timer the night before if you need to, and also a timer 15, 20 minutes, up to 4 hours before, to make sure that you get these tasks not only in place, but so you don't forget them. So maybe at 8 o'clock, feed the dog. At 8:30, put the washing in the washing machine. Now again, that might be something that you do every single week, but for some people who are struggling to get this right, maybe you need to put it in your daily calendar, and that's not a problem at all. So as an example, you may have a big business meeting come out, or an event or a function that evening. So basically what you can do is put a calendar entry, 9 o'clock, take suit to be dry cleaned. And whilst you're driving there, spend time to use your hands-free car kit. Most modern cars have that. Obviously don't put your phone in your ear while you're driving, but make use of the time in your motor car as well. So at say 9:05, ring that family member or friend, or wish them a happy birthday if that's applicable to that day as well. So you've gone off and done that. You've maybe done some other things at the local store or shops. Then come home. Okay, you've got a diary entry there of 10 o'clock. Remove all the rubbish from beside the shed. Now you've wanted to do that for weeks, but you keep forgetting. Put it in your diary. Make sure you set your timer for that as well. As you head through the day, you might do some other things like have some lunch or read a book, whatever you like to do. But at 2 o'clock, make sure you pick up that suit from the dry cleaners. So you don't forget, put that entry in, not only as an entry, but also as a timer as well. At 2:05, so again, as you're driving to go and pick up your suit, ring that work colleague and remind them or confirm that they'll be picking you up at say 5:30 that evening for the function. So you're making sure you use your time while you're driving, but also making sure you confirm that another person that you'll be relying on will be picking you up. And they may be very grateful. They may have forgotten as well. But if it's in your calendar, you won't forget and they won't forget either. Now, a big one for me, having done quite a bit of speaking, is sometimes I need to remind myself what type of clothes I'll need to wear at a particular function. Now, as you know, I'm the average Joe. I can wear what I'm wearing now, but obviously for some of my business consulting, I've needed to wear a suit, and it depends on where you're going to be going on a particular evening. You may need to wear a tuxedo, or you may need to wear something very, very special, and it'd be very, very not a good thing if you got to the function and you'd forgotten certain things. So put it in your calendar as a diary entry. 4:30, layout, suit jacket, suit vest if that's what you need to wear, shoes, socks, underwear, let's not forget that, a tie, maybe you need a pin for your tie as well, or cufflinks, all these little things. Make sure you lay out your watch, make sure you lay out obviously a handkerchief, or maybe other things that will make up the ensemble that you need to wear, so you're not running around the house just before you leave the house and forgetting that, I didn't have my tie pin, or I'm going to need that handkerchief for the nice little pocket in the top of my suit. Put the diary entry in there, set a timer to remind you to have all these things laying on your bed or on your lounge or whatever you do. Set a timer, set a diary entry for, say, 5:15. So you've confirmed with your colleague earlier on in the day for a 5:30 pickup. Set a diary entry, set a timer for 5:15. Wait out the front of house ready for pickup. So don't set it for 5:30. Don't walk out of the house at 5:30. Be standing on your doorstep. Be standing on your veranda. Be standing on the front nature strip or wherever it is that you're standing 15 minutes before your pickup. So they're not waiting for you. They don't have to beep. You're ready to get straight in the car. And that's still all about time management. And you're respecting their time because someone's picking you up. So you've got an event, great event, but you need to make sure you set some diary entries for when you get at home as well. So let's say you set a diary entry for 11:30, and that diary entry might say, set reminder for meeting tomorrow. So what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for success in your time management tomorrow by setting a timer and setting a diary entry today. So make sure you understand that's very, very important. So at 11:30 you may say set reminder so you can go to tomorrow and write down the meeting, write down what you've got to do, where you've got to go, and set your timers and your calendar stuff, but set it the night before. And then at 11:35, as I've suggested before, do a review, do a stock check of your day, how the tasks have gone. Maybe you didn't get as far as putting the washing in the washing machine. That's okay. Put it on the to-do list for tomorrow. So constantly reviewing your days, weeks, and monthly calendar will really help you stay ahead and stay on top of those time management tasks that are very, very important just for today. And you know what? It's okay to put in there, pick up child from school. Because you know what? In this very, very busy life that we all live, sometimes even little things like that might seem obvious sometimes get forgotten as well. So if we're managing our time with diary entries, we can do that. You know, if someone didn't teach you that as a child, well, hopefully what I'm teaching you today will be really, really, really important for you. So don't ever just say, well, that's just the way I am, or that's the way I've always done it, or I'll never change. Because you know what, if you keep saying that, that's probably exactly the result you'll get. But if your personality is to be carefree and relaxed, and you've seen a lot of time management struggles, or if time management was never modeled as a child, always have positive affirmation of yourself that you can change. Always have a positive outlook that allows you to know that you can begin to set some of this structure of time management into your life. Take hold of your life and start putting these positive time management procedures and processes in place. And before you know it, you'll have these things as life-changing principles, and they'll become second nature to you. You know, I really, really hope that you've enjoyed episode number 2. And if any of this video has rung true or given you lots of things to think about, or maybe you've had an aha moment, maybe a light bulb moment, make sure you try and contact me, send me a message, or you can put some things on my website there. And I'd love to encourage you. I would love to know who is listening and taking great advantage of these videos from around the world. So make sure you stay tuned. Look for episode 3, where I'm going to cover a specific topic, and it's called the culture of being late. Now, I've got some great information there and some excellent things that you can write down and start to learn from that as well. So it's the culture of being late. So be sure to give me a thumbs up on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you see these videos. And if you like this video series, make sure you share it. Share it with friends, share it with colleagues. I'm always open for speaking to groups, whether it be schools or churches, community groups, or businesses. So I've done a lot of public speaking, and as you can tell, I'm very passionate about this. So if that's something that you'd like to investigate, please contact me so we can work out a booking procedure in that way. So thanks for watching. Bye for now. I hope you have had a really, really excellent time watching this video, episode number 2, and stay tuned for episode number 3.